What's up guys, I'm back continuing with the answering your questions. This one is the CBR pros and cons. Now also this is an advantage for, say if you're looking to buy a 125 and you're considering this one. Hopefully this will give you an idea whether you actually want to buy it or not. And yes, I know I need to give it a clean, but if you watched my video yesterday you'll understand why it's a little bit dirty. So I'm going to start off through the cons, so that way we can finish on a high note with all the pros. So the first one, it's not great acceleration, I must admit. But I mean, I'm a big guy. I mean, I'm 12 stone. So if you're like a little guy that's like 8 or 9, you know, it'll easily pull you. This still easily pulls. It's not the fastest one out there. I mean, yes, it's 4-stroke as well, so it's not going to be as fast as some of the other 125s that you can get out on the market. Then a big thing, of course, say if you're a young guy like me and you're trying to actually buy this bike, it does cost a bit. It costs almost 4 grand. For a 125, that is a lot of money. That Spanner guy, I met up with him the other day, he got his bike for 400 quid. He got his for a tenth of what I got mine. And yes, I know obviously mine's a lot better and I got it brand new out the dealership, but the point is that it is a very expensive bike and you could, I'm sure, get a lot more for a bit cheaper, to be honest with you. And then also coming to that, it's not got the fastest top end speed. Yeah, so as I said, I'm 12 stone and I know obviously everyone hates the monster stuff. The monster stuff in the tank's gone, but the front, I'll get rid of them in a minute. I'll get rid of them, don't worry. It's not quite the fastest bike in the world. I will admit that. There is some faster 125s that are out there. You know, I mean, the fact that it's a 4-stroke, and then obviously it very much depends on the rider that's on it. So the fact that I'm 12 stone, I can probably get, well no, I've got, on a good day with a bit of a tailwind, about 80 miles an hour, which is 130 kilometers an hour. So, you know, fair play for a bike that, you know, it's a 125, and you know, the max speed limit in the UK is supposed to be 70. Yeah, it can do this. It can do the speed limit, and it can keep up with stuff on motorways. You know, it's still not the fastest one out there. It's so awkward to make. It really is. Now, this is one that I know many other YouTubers have said about, but it really does annoy me. It's these things, the forks. Notice how they're the right way up? Well, that's the wrong way. Not having upside down forks. I mean, there's a ridiculous amount of other bikes that have upside down forks, and then this just doesn't. I mean, that just it just annoys me. Like, it's a personal thing for me. I'd prefer to have upside down forks. It would just make it look better and a bit. It is quite a low down seating position. Now, yeah, it's comfortable in the way it does it, but from a seating point of view, it is very, very small. Now I'm 6 foot, so I'm falling over. That's what I'm doing. I'm right on the limit. When you're sort of sitting over and you're tucked down on it, yeah, at that point it doesn't feel bad at all. But when you actually like sit right up properly on it, it does. It just makes you feel very big compared to the bike. You know, it doesn't make the bike look big at all. You feel massive and the bike just feels tiny. I will say that. So obviously you got to take your height into consideration with these things. If you're thinking about buying one, you know, actually sit on one, see how you feel, potentially take it out for a test ride if you can. It does sometimes make you feel quite tall. I'm going to put in the kitty. On here, as you can see, you got time of day, your fuel, your miles, your temperature, and then obviously how many miles an hour you're going, and then you've got your RPMs at the top and a neutral light, but no gear indicator. When you've learned how to actually ride the bike in that, you know, you can listen out to it and you can do it on sound and feel, and you can tell what gear you're in, and obviously if you need to go up or go down, then yeah, it's alright. But as a learner, when you first step on it and it's your brand new bike, I feel you do need a gear indicator, just so you can sort of save yourself, because if there's any people on here that have seen my first ride on this bike, you'll know that there's been so many times where I've gone down one gear too many. I mean, there was a point where, because it was quite wet conditions coming home, and I must have locked that back tyre probably twice on the way home. Didn't know what sort of gear I was in. I shifted down to the gear below, and obviously it was too high RPM, and as it was slick conditions, the tyre just locked. As a new rider, yes, that could potentially be a problem. It's not now, because obviously, you know, I've had the bike for like 2 years, so I know how to ride it and everything. As a learner, I would say that is a massive thing that I think they should have done with this bike. I really do. And lastly, ow, my toe. Second to last thing now, because I just thought of something. Now, before anyone says anything, these are not my chicken strips. This is the dirt that I had still from yesterday, see? These are not my chicken strips. I'll see if I can actually show you where my chicken strips are. Doesn't quite show. So about a fingernail. That's about how far in my chicken strips are. These are the stock tyres. They've done about 7,000 miles, and if I was thinking about keeping the bike seriously for another couple of years, then I would definitely switch these out. But even so, I really think I should have swapped these a long time ago. These are the standard ones that came with it, and they're just crap. They really are. Like, in the dry, I mean, as I said yesterday in my video, that I didn't have a lot of confidence in these, and that was obviously because of time and wear sort of thing. But even in the dry, these don't give you 100% confidence. I'd say in the dry you could have about 80%, and you could, you know, you can get your knee down, but, you know, it's a bit risky. Whereas then in the wet, these things just don't give you any grip at all. Like, in the wet, if you were to go down at the same angle as what you do in the dry, these things would be slipping about like absolutely mad. Standard exhaust, it is terrible. It's absolutely shocking. It really is. Like, I'll put it on now. I mean, this is that. It's not loud at all. Like. Yeah, it's not a loud bike at all. It really is not. By the way, before anyone says anything, the bike's warm. Now onto the pros, finally, the good bits. Fuel consumption is amazing from this little tank. It could do about 250 miles I can get out of it. 5 to 7 pounds. So that's, you know, £7, $10 if you're American. It's absolutely nothing. And it will just take you for miles. It really will. It's so good on fuel consumption. It really is. So that is a massive positive for this thing. Now the insurance for this thing, insurance as well, once again, very low. And for the first year, it's about 900 odd pounds. Now I'm already down to, altogether in the year, 480 pounds. I'm down proper low. And that is just brilliant for this. I mean, I'm 19 years old and paying £40 a month. You know, it's brilliant. You know, £480 altogether in a year. 19, second year of this bike, because they didn't take consideration of my ped as a 1 year, no claims, which was a bit annoying, which is why my first year was bit pricey. Second year of having this, and I'm already under £500 a year for my insurance. Good comfort as well. Bike is really comfy. The seat, I mean, it's all standard. All really great padding, and then the positioning of the foot pegs for that. It's not too close in that you're bunched up. So your knee when you're riding probably comes to about here, instead of like up here, so you're not cramped in a seating position. And I've had days where I've done, well, I started at about 6:30 in the morning, I didn't get home till about 9 at night, and I think in that day about 4 hours was spent altogether like off the bike. When are you normally going to spend 12 hours sitting in a seat on a normal day? You can make like an hour, 2 hour journey perfectly fine, and you will be in just as much comfort as you are the second you sit on the bike. It won't hurt at all, and you won't be cramping up, so it's really good. And then of course, reliability. This thing is ridiculously reliable. I've not had any major faults. I mean, little things I will pick up on. It will pop out of second gear and back down to neutral. And sometimes when you sit in here, you can't actually find neutral. I mean, there you go, it's just clicked in straight away. Neutral, second, and going up. So, just click it back into neutral. So, there you go, see straight away I already know it's a neutral. Sometimes you just can't quite find the gears that you want. I mean, look, there you go, it's not coming out of third, second, first, neutral. So you can tell sometimes it's not quite clicking. I mean, arguably, yeah, that's because I'm trying to go into third and fourth gear whilst I'm sitting still and it's probably not letting me. Sometimes you can't quite find the gear you want and it won't actually stay in that gear. I mean, yesterday when I started up my video, that clip at the beginning is because I couldn't get out of second. It wouldn't find third. Apart from that one issue, this thing is ridiculously reliable. Now I know Ash Bandicoot said he had to replace his chain since 3,000 miles. This is all completely standard. I don't know how it's not broken, it's just lubed up to hell. And this is on about 7,000 odd miles. Well, actually I can tell you. There you go. 7,183 miles. That didn't focus, but never mind. Apart from the gears, and then obviously your chain and your sprocket system all needing to be replaced. Apart from that, this bike is stupidly reliable. I mean, it starts first time every single time, even in the middle of winter, and it's just not had any problems in terms of reliability on that side. So overall, I'd still give it a big thumbs up for reliability. Now that I said that, I'm gonna break down. The front end is awesome on handling, it really is. You turn this thing in, it will go at slow speed, you turn it in, it will go wherever you want, and then even at high speed, just counter steer, bang, you're straight into the point where you want to go. I mean, it's got a really light front end, so that can really help you in terms of that, because all the weight is obviously center in the middle with you and the engine, blah blah blah. Another positive for having a light front end is you can wheelie the thing. First gear, clutch, dump, wheel up. Simple. Simple as that. And then lastly, loads and loads of modding options can be done to this. Screens done, wind mirrors, indicators can be done, all the fairings can be changed easily. Exhaust, which is a massive thing, I would definitely change that exhaust if you have the money and want to. You can put a tail tidy on. Indicators you can take off, and you can have, you know, indicators pieced in here, or you can have aftermarket indicators on, as on a tail tidy. Then obviously the chain and sprocket options can be done. Then heated grips can be placed on, and you can have levers changed as well, as I have done. So there is many options you can do to this bike, and plus you can have crossover things. So things that are on the 250, you can easily put on the 125. So on that point of view, this bike I think is really good. So yeah, there are all the positives and negatives that I can think of for this bike. Obviously, if you have any more, let me know in the comments. But overall, I would still think that this is a very good first bike, and if you're interested in buying it, yeah, do so by all means. You know, it's a great bike to own, and I'm still very happy with it, and I wouldn't change it for anything. That is a total lie. By the way, before anyone says anything, the bike's warm. No, it's not.